There has been plenty of success at Eve Lodge Stable in the last year or two, not least the rise of Isle of Jura. The new approach gelding has proved most progressive at home and abroad since joining the Eve Lodge team almost a year ago. He made his mark last summer with eye-catching victories in short succession at Newbury and then Newmarket, and Isle of Jura has flourished again during a superb Bahrain campaign this winter. In the colours of victorious racing, he has won 3 of his 4 races since December. This Friday, he will attempt to complete a triple crown when he contests the King's Cup. George Scott gives us his insight into the rise and rise of Isle of Jura. Race week, but it's almost a year since the horse came here. Just talk a little bit about how Isle of Jura arrived at Eve Lodge Stables.
Yeah, he came in a little bit unconventionally for us. There was a horses and training sale on, and Billy Jackson Stops said that there was a horse that we should really be taking seriously. And we knew with his pedigree that he'd be expensive, but we went up to see him and we loved him as a physical. He was exactly the type of horse that we'd love to try and buy at a yearling sale. And fortunately, Sheikh Nasser had the same idea, so we purchased him in training. He's a big horse, and he took some time to acclimatise here. When he came in, he just wasn't thriving, and I have to admit, at one point I did ring Sheikh Nasser and say, "So, a little bit concerned here." But fortunately, we were all very patient, and we let him find his feet, acclimatise, and by the time he had his opening mark, he very much was doing everything right at home.
And it was Newmarket and before that Newbury that we sort of got an indication of the horse's potential.
Yes, well, although he was running in low-grade handicaps, he was just destroying the opposition, and I think that's something you don't see very often. And it's the manner in which he was going through his races was particularly encouraging.
Bahrain over the winter, 3 wins from 4. Just tell us a little bit about the campaign and when it started to formulate in your mind, and why Bahrain.
When this horse came to auction, I thought he would be the perfect type of horse for Bahrain. Obviously, it was a long way down the line. It was always the plan that we would travel him. He was that type of horse that if he was good enough, he looked to me like a horse that would travel, and it was a very obvious place to go. I know Sheikh Nasser has enjoyed the journey, particularly. I wanted to represent him in these types of races. And yeah, look, he's just been the right man for the job, this horse.
Well, we have one more to go. We are focusing on the Triple Crown. I don't think there is a horse ever done that before, so I think today's race proved to us that he can do the 1.5 miles easy. He will definitely be a good competitive with his other riders in the King's Cup. So today was a good rehearsal for the King's Cup.
We now head to this third leg of the Triple Crown, full of excitement.
You mentioned the Triple Crown. Just tell us what that is and the legs that, in your mind, comprise it.
The King's Cup is the original sort of big race in Bahrain. And what's been so special about Isle of Jura is that he's taken in the other 2 cup races on the way to the King's Cup. So he took in the Crown Prince's Cup.
Here comes Isle of Jura, and Isle of Jura is in firm command. Isle of Jura's having a cracking winter, wins the Crown Prince's Cup.
The Sheikh Nasser Cup.
Oh, he's having an armchair experience aboard Isle of Jura at the moment. It is all about Isle of Jura. 3 wins for Isle of Jura this winter in Bahrain, a real star.
And now onto the King's Cup. It's never been done before to win all 3 races. We've had international competition, we've had a change of distance, and it's going to get even more competitive on Friday. But it would be a very famous Triple Crown, as we say.
How's he pointing into it, and why are you saying it's his stiffest assignment so far?
We're fortunate enough to have a brilliant team around him. Rosie Jessup rides him every day. She's been instrumental, to be honest. Her local knowledge, and then Cheryl Powell, who's been with him, knows him like the back of her hand. And really, he hasn't put a foot wrong since he's been there. And he's improved from race to race. He loves the fast ground, and he's nice and relaxed now when he comes down to the races. So, we're very hopeful. We feel like he's in the right headspace. Now, what we can't control is the opposition, and Charlie Appleby brings a strong hand to the race on Friday. They're going to fly in from Dubai, and it's going to be his sternest challenge for sure.